I don't learn something when you attack someone else. I don't learn anything when someone calls Candace Owens crazy. Or when Nick Fuentes says that Candace Owens is crazy. Or when somebody says Tucker Carlson is crazy. And this one's crazy. And Alex Jones is crazy. I don't learn anything. This isn't news. What kind of channel is, did you hear the crazy thing she says today? Excuse me, that's it? That's your idea of substance? You want to pick out people and highlight what they've said that you think is crazy. This is what you think is news? This is what you think is interesting? What is going on here? Look, I don't know how to break it to you, but that's boring. If that's your shtick, get a new shtick. Learn some facts. This is ridiculous. Aren't you bored by this? The world is about to blow up, and all I know is that Candace Owens is supposedly crazy because she believes in time travel, or who cares? I'm going to say this. Have you looked at religion? Have you looked at what people believe on a regular basis? It's nuts from the viewpoint of somebody standing outside of that fishbowl. When people can't beat you or defeat your ideas with facts or with evidence, they try to beat you up with labels. I keep telling you this. This is where we are. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Not only to Candace Owens, but in our state of political analysis. We got to stop this. At the height of the Vietnam War, I don't remember people just making nonstop Johnson or Nixon jokes. That's what we would do today. We'd have some comic do an imitation, and that would substitute. The meme or the GIF or whatever it was would substitute as some type of cogent analysis of the facts at hand. The second that she says something that makes powerful people uncomfortable, they rush to the microphones and they call Candace Owens crazy. She's crazy, she's nuts, she's wild, she's unstable, she's dangerous, because that's the fastest way to shut somebody up. But also that gets the best reaction from people in terms of YouTube, because this has become just a gossip rag. I was watching somebody was just commenting on Timothy Busfield. You don't know, they don't even know the facts of the case, but they're just slamming him. He's crazy, Melissa Gilbert is crazy, and he's guilty. It's like, you don't know anything. He very well could be, but it's like, what is the matter with us? That gets more clicks and more metrics and more oomph and more vectors and trajectory than to sit there and say, well, I think we should look at the facts of the case. See, that's the right thing to do, but that's boring because we live in a world of children, of snotty, weird, ADD, mean-spirited punks. And the way we learn today to shut somebody up without doing the hard work or of debating them is calling them nuts. And Nick Fuentes, who I guess, I don't know, he's very good at this. But I'm trying to say, Nick, with all due respect, man, let's assume that, okay, you, what did you call it? Sumerian? You made some reference. I think you thought it was crazy. Okay. Assume that's true. So what? And Nick, he's a fascinating guy. But as an example, the Fuentes drama proves it again. Candace made comments about Charlie Kirk that sounded strange to some people. I know. She talked about unusual ideas, different ideas perhaps, personal conversations and things that do not fit inside neat little political boxes. And instead of asking questions per usual, or talking about something else, or saying, you know what, we'll get to this later. Okay. No, instead of slowing down, instead of trying to understand it, they jumped on the storyline. And what she said is the news. And Fuentes and others immediately mocked her, clipped her words, laughed at her, and told the internet that she lost her mind. That's their take. This is a very smart young man. I'm thinking, that's it? That's it. She's lost her mind. She hasn't lost her mind, and you know this, okay? And you would think, though, people who've had this thrown at them, you think they would be the most reluctant to be involved in that particular way of thinking. But here's the part they don't want you to think about. Candace was speaking in the middle of grief and confusion and shock after a tragic assassination of someone she loved, a dear friend of hers, that rocked the conservative movement. There will never be anybody like Charlie. And you can say whatever you want to think the suspects. I can tell you who the suspects are not, but I don't know who did it, and you won't either. And that's a sign of a good assassin. Don't leave calling cards. Make it confusing. Narrow it down to about 8 suspects and move on. People are desperate for answers. I understand that. People feel somehow that something's missing, and people feel that, official silence is strange. And okay, fine. And Candace is no different. So she spoke honestly about what she experienced and what she heard, and that's groovy. And whether you agree with every word she says, okay, that's fine, but that's not the issue. But like, here's my question today: is she really that crazy? Is what she's saying, is it crazy? Is it crazy? Again, I don't want to get into religion, but is it crazy? Is this what makes her insane? For what she said, when she talks about people traveling or thinking, this doesn't make her insane. It makes her human. People talk about destiny and science and intuition and gut feelings and meaning all the time and fate. And this was meant to be. Pastors talk about it. Athletes will make the sign of the cross before they hit. Come on. Soldiers talk about it. Parents talk about it. People pray for everything. People wake up. They hear the Lord. They talk to the Lord. They wear medals and medallions, and they wear interesting hats, and they wear capes, and they don't eat certain things, and they do weird incantations. And they light flames, and they're into symbols and symbology. That's not weird. But Candace Owens is weird. But when Candace does it, suddenly becomes what? Proof that she's unstable. Come on. Okay? Look, let me tell you something. I'm a retired Catholic. Catholic Church was very good to me. When I was a kid, we learned of a martyr named St. Lawrence of Rome. Look him up. In fact, I went to a school called St. Lawrence. St. Lawrence was a martyr. And Isaac said, excuse me, Sister Mike Tyson or whoever, excuse me, you keep bringing these martyrs up. These are people who were put to death because they believed in Christ, right? Yeah. And you want me to believe in Christ? And the reason why the examples you're giving me are people who were killed because they believe in what you want me to believe in. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. But listen to this, and I'll just move on. Look it up. St. Lawrence of Rome. He was put in a gridiron. He was martyred and tortured, burned to death on a gridiron, on a griddle, like a barbecue thing. His famous line, we knew this in Catholic school, all of us in my generation, turn me over, I'm done on this side. Imagine being 7 years old and you hear this. This guy frying to death. His skin is liquefying. He's not screaming. He's not screaming. He's like Shecky Green. Turn me over. I'm done on this side. Okay. Now, that's not crazy. But Candace Owens is crazy. Okay. See, this isn't a double standard. It's hypocrisy at levels we can't even understand. And it's not an accident, by the way. This is part of a bigger pattern that people inside the conservative movement and the conservative world fight each other about instead of standing together. Nick Fuentes and other people, they don't bring evidence. You know that's true. They don't bring clarity. They don't bring anything. They just bring jokes and insults, and she's crazy. And I mean, doesn't it bore you? Doesn't that bore you? I'm going to talk about some other things too, but I have to tell you, we have to put an end to this now because we have big issues ahead of us. And when you run to YouTube or whatever the platform is, you want people to be able to analyze and give you facts and not necessarily give you that this guy's crazy or this one's fat or this one's ugly or this one's stupid or this one got a facelift and this one's... Stop it. This is mean girl stuff. People do whatever they say today to get clicks and applause, and they don't care about truth. And this is not the first time that Nikki or others have attacked Candace. And now they're attacking, Tucker, because he's, I don't know why. I don't understand it. I want to learn something. I want to stop it. Calling people names, trying to make her and others look extreme. And Tucker Carlson, by the way, defended her. Tucker defended her and said these attacks are meant to destroy credibility, not fix problems. And they did the same thing to Tucker. Remember when Tucker said he was attacked by a demon in the middle of the night that left claw marks? He's sitting in bed. His wife wasn't awake, but he's attacked by this demon, this devil, monster, ghoul, devil monkey thing. Attacked him and scraped it. He threw him out of bed. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Do I believe that? Doesn't matter what I believe. It's what he said. Okay, next. It's not the first time. But I guarantee you the idea of somebody being attacked by some wings or some serpent with claws or whatever it is, yeah, okay. You see my reaction? I hear this all the time. What does that mean? He said it, so what? You see, these people, what they say, other than that, it matters because they talk about what's really happening here. And I don't care. I do care about facts. I really don't care about reputation warfare. I don't care about who gets to speak and who gets on. I want to know just plain old information. And it's one of those things, and I'm telling you, Candace, I swear to God, every time she says something, they say, well, Candace said that Charlie was a remote viewing, Operation Stargate. I said, I've studied Stargate. The federal government put about 20 years of money into that. They thought it was something there. The Soviet Union did. Annie Jacobson, the great author, talked about that. What's wrong with remote viewing in Stargate? What's wrong with that? But see, what really drives people crazy is when Candace, in particular, questions media lies and corporate power or political cowardice. See, the response is rarely real debate. It's never debate. It's character assassination like you can't believe. And a lot of people love it. They love that trolling. And even politicians overseas have to attack her. And Tucker as well. And they use dramatic language like calling them enemies. And they're, what is it? Tucker's he's an enemy of Egypt, Israel, and a Zionist. I'm just. See, Americans don't have. I hate to say this, but I hope you know what you're doing. You have a group of people right now who are saying, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know America First from First Aid. I don't know. But I don't understand these wars, and I don't know what you're talking about, and that's what we should be talking about. Why are we having these wars? What's going on? Explain to me what's going on in Minnesota or the Middle East. Explain to me. See, if you get approved talking points, this is nothing. I want to expose the hypocrisy. I want to take on big institutions about the facts of the case and about policy. I want to take on things that I want to. When you know what famous scientists talk about? Strange ideas are not strange forever. People in science are praised for being bold thinkers. And when Candace does, she's talking about these things. Listen, I have no idea. I cannot tell you about astrology. I cannot tell you about ghosts and the paranormal and UFOs. I can tell you what the evidence is. The evidence is a lot of evidence. I mean, a lot of evidence. I haven't had this happen to me. I haven't seen it myself, a UFO, but I've never seen an electron either. And this form of, you can call it, radical atheism. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's not a religion. Like I tell people, there's an old expression: if atheism is a religion, then not collecting stamps is a hobby. You see, Candace doesn't belong to the elite club. She didn't ask permission. She does not soften her words to protect feelings, and that scares people, and they hate that with everything they have. They hate it with everything they have. I can't explain that. I can't explain it. It's something that just drives people nuts. And again, I have been finding, as of late, fascinating stories. I love to hear people talk about this notion of things out there that are different, about channeling and about mediums and about clairvoyance and about faith healing and about, for the longest time, when I was in college, I became enamored with Pentecostal, evangelical, faith healing, this hellfire and brimstone traveling. I was slain in the spirit by Ernest Angley. I was fascinated by it. Fascinated. I am so interested in what it was. And they weren't crazy. These people weren't crazy. That's their word again. Everybody's crazy. Not in the least. It was one of those things that was so bloody interesting. It was fascinating. And I want to tell people about that. I want people to understand this. I want people to grasp these things. These are the issues which I find so incredibly interesting. So fascinating. Wouldn't you love to know this? Can we travel in time? Einstein said we can. We can do that. You know how that works. You know about space-time and that sort of stuff. You know how all of this jazz works. It's the most phenomenal thing in the world. It is so interesting. There's I did something. I did a thread, as it were, that talks about just time travel and how, if you look at what people have said, in fact, you've heard about the mysteries of Baron Trump. Have you ever heard that one? I hope you go to my X. I still say Twitter. I can't say X. X doesn't work for me. I go to X. But I put together a thread, And I've never done this before, but I want you to read my thread. I'm going to read my thread to you if you don't mind. I think this is the most important. I think this is critical. This is I'll read it to you. Candace Owens has lost it. That's the mainstream headline after her recent claims about Charlie Kirk and time travel. But if you look past the headlines, there's a fascinating logic at play. If she crazy, is she crazy, or is she good at pattern recognition and the like? The Smoking Gun, the Ingersoll Lockwood books. Did you hear this? In the 1890s, Lockwood wrote about a wealthy boy named Baron Trump, who lived in Castle Trump and was guided by a man named Don. A coincidence? Maybe. But it gets even weirder. Lockwood's 1896 book, The Last President, describes a populist outsider winning an election, leading to riots at the Fifth Avenue Hotel, the exact spot where Trump stands today. The statistical probability of these specific names and locations is near zero. Then this is where Nikola Tesla enters. When Tesla died in 1943, the FBI seized his papers, and the man tasked with reviewing them was Dr. John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle. Candace's argument isn't magic. It's about a closed loop of classified information. Quote, my uncle used to tell me about nuclear before nuclear was nuclear. Trump has praised his uncle's genius for years. If a breakthrough in nonlinear physics or chronological data occurred in the 40s, John Trump was the gatekeeper. Then there's Project Looking Glass. Again, this is my thread. Go to Lionel Media. Allegedly, this is a tech that uses quantum computing to see future guidelines. While it sounds like sci-fi, think about AI predictive analysis. If you can simulate the future, you effectively own it. Candace has claimed that Charlie Kirk was marked as a child. Listen to this. Suggests advanced predictive profiling. If the deep state can model who becomes a threat 20 years out, they don't need a time machine. They just need better dates than you. We have to remember, crazy, I'm doing a lot of air quotes, crazy is a label used to protect the Overton window. For 70 years, people were crazy for believing in UFOs. Then the Pentagon released the Tic Tac videos. And then the insane often just have a 50-year head start on the truth. And whether or not you believe in literal time machines, Owens is highlighting a post-truth reality. Between Tesla's secrets, Lockwood's prophecies, and the CIA's history of psychic research, Project Stargate, the world is weirder than we're told. So Candace Owens isn't suffering a breakdown. She's practicing radical skepticism. So what happens is, in a real world of very smart people and very open-minded people who brought us everybody from Schopenhauer to Kant to Spinoza to Timothy Leary to Jerry Garcia, there were amazingly fascinating people who came up with ideas that seemed kind of nutso, kind of strange, kind of odd, until you looked at them, until you understood what he was saying. And what I'm suggesting to you, my friends, is Candace Owens is far from crazy. But in your life, in your world, there are things that if I showed you, it would blow your mind. People that you thought were dead aren't. People who are in different dimensions. People who are different. And I'm using just not absolutes, but maybe words that I think are used to help me better describe what's going on. I am irreligious for all practical purposes, and I am not spiritual, but I am very interested in never ruling out anything. And if you look at what people have said specifically regarding Max Planck and the Planck Institute and Penrose and others regarding quantum data capture, the conservation of energy, and how we never die, we just keep going into different states. Why is she crazy? I suggest to you, my friends, that if we ever really understood what goes on, we will blow our minds. And you can say whatever you want, and you call it what you want. I think it's God, your God, saying, see what I can do? Pretty groovy, huh? So don't be so quick to call people crazy. Don't be so quick. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for your great comments. Please, I've got some questions coming up. Answer them. Talk to me. Talk to me. Let's discuss this. Let's be cordial. Let's open our mind expansion. But the last thing we should do is just to call Candace Owens crazy. She's not crazy. So answer my questions in the comment section and comment as you see fit.